Hi there, good afternoon. Welcome to another session where you and I sit down together and plan to discuss and dive deeper into some area, some aspect, or something or the other. So, today the topic that we have decided to pick up is RC. In this particular case, we talk about why RC is important. So what do you think? What really makes, is it something that I should even talk about actually? Do I need to tell you why reading comprehension is important? But then I'm sure there are a lot of you who are starting your preparation, and sorry, when you start your preparation, at times it can be a bit of an issue, or there are times when we realize it later that, oh, this was this important. So I don't want that to happen to you, and therefore this session. So once again, I welcome you to BYJU'S Exam Prep channel that is dedicated to your success as an MBA aspirant. We bring in tons and tons and tons of high quality sessions that cover every single aspect of the preparation. And I think if you look at our repository here on the channel, you'll practically find videos on everything. We still keep on taking all these sessions for you every day, primarily so that we could interact with you, primarily so that we could be in touch live, and as a result, customize these sessions, address your specific queries, your specific challenges. And if you want to ensure that you are present, you are available, you are aware of all these sessions, it is imperative that you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. My name is Vikrant. I am your personal coach for all things related to English and communication here at BYJU'S Exam Prep. I have 22 years of experience, and I've coached thousands of people and helped them go closer to their goals. Right. So that's about me throughout this session. If you have any issue, any concern, make sure that you drop it down in the chat window below, and I would take those up and address those alongside. So let's go ahead and start with a thought that I wanted to share with you. It will put us in a state of mind that I think is great. So here is a quote from Louis Hay. I choose to make the rest of my life the best of my life. So I hope you also have a similar resolve. So this is the first day of the rest of your life. Make sure that you make it count. Okay, and now taking you back to, hi Tarun, how are you? What's up? Okay, so we are talking about, is RC important? So the question is reading comprehension important? Do you think RC is important from the perspective of the exams? I think a more fundamental question to ask is, how do we even decide it? So it's easier to call an area important or not important or whatever, but how do we even go on to decide whether a particular area is important from the perspective of the exam or not? So see, you have gone on to prepare for a lot of different exams, right? School, college, everything, and I am sure you also target important areas. So the question is, how do you decide on which area is important? Now, in a way, when I talk about B school exams, I can say that every single area is important. And I'll tell you why. I really dislike selective preparation for B school entrance exams. I'm a huge proponent of a person going on to cover everything. And you know why? Every year, a B school decides on a cutoff. And there are some people who miss out on that cutoff very marginally. In fact, just the other day, I have a friend who lives in Canada, who's moved to Canada recently. He's a dentist. He sat for some exams in Canada so that he could start practicing as a dentist. I don't remember the exact marks, but I think, roughly put, I think it will give you the idea. The cutoff was 160 and he got 159.5. So just that half a mark means he'd have to prepare again and sit for that exam again 6 months from now. So, I mean, it's very disheartening when you miss out on the cutoff by, 1/4 of a mark, half a mark, no matter what the situation is. And I see that every year. So I don't like people engaging in selective preparation. I won't ever recommend that. But that said, when it comes to prioritizing, then I do prioritize important areas first. And important area is simply an area that contributes a greater number of questions. यार जिससे ज़्यादा जो ज़्यादा marks contribute करे वो ज़्यादा important, and that's exactly what Ajay has also gone on to share with us. More weightage of questions, absolutely. So you just need to look at the total number of questions that come from that area in the exam, or the total number of marks that we typically assign. So when it comes to reading comprehension, what sort of equation do we really have in the exams? See, so when it comes to the CAT, here is the equation. Almost 25% of the total questions that get asked in the exam are reading comprehension questions, right? So imagine an area that contributes 1/4 to the paper. Has to be an important area, right? And then if I talk about the other major exam that a lot of us target, ZAT, even there the weightage is fairly high. So ZAT has paper 1 and paper 2. Now it is paper 1 where you have all of these things, quant, DI, LR, RC, etc. So 18.5% of the total questions that are given to you in paper 1 are actually reading comprehension questions. So you notice, purely in terms of the number of questions that it contributes, it's probably the largest single area. There is no other area, no other module. So you talk about, let's say, quant, arithmetic, etc. You'd probably get at the max what, around 8-9 questions from there. But here we are talking about getting 16 questions or 14 questions and along the lines. So plenty of questions that are directly dependent on RC. And then see, it is not just about that direct dependence. The truth is, reading comprehension acts as a foundational skill for quite a few other question types. So the utility is not just restricted to RC, right? It also is a necessary ability for quite a few other question types. And what are those other question types? Let me share those with you. So how about para summary? Imagine if you cannot even understand the text, if you're not good at comprehension, how will you determine what is useful and what is not useful in a paragraph? Tell me. What is critical, what is non-critical in a paragraph? So that's a foundational ability for para summary. Similarly, when you solve para jumbles, what is the first thing that I've advised you to do? Read all the sentences and look for clues, right? So you're supposed to read all the sentences carefully, actively, aggressively, where you are just trying to determine and figure out all the clues that are scattered around. If you do not comprehend well, how would you do that? And I think the same applies for para completion as well as paragraph odd one out. So para jumbles are RC is a precursor to all the paragraph based question, and that's not all. In all of these other exams, you can actually have these direct questions based on critical reasoning. You get those in ZAT, you get those in NMAT. So one of the first things that you do in critical reasoning is that you read a paragraph, you understand it, and then you isolate the argument that paragraph contains. Now, if you're not good at comprehending, if you're not good at interpreting, that will become an issue. And even when we talk about question types like fill in the blanks, and you get them in quite a few exams, right? You get them in XAT, SNAP, TISNET, Maharashtra CET, CMAT, plenty of different exams where you get these. So fill in the blank requires a lot of different abilities, right? So you need to have vocabulary, you need to have reasoning, but then one of the abilities that you need is your ability to comprehend. And last but not the least, in that we happen to have an entire section devoted to decision making. Decision making questions can be thought of as a special case, a special scenario of critical reasoning. And because you require RC or comprehension in critical reasoning, you'd require that in decision making as well. So all in all, if I look at it, as far as the CAT goes, you have around 25% of the direct reading comprehension based questions, but if I look at the total utility, it goes way beyond that 25%. And even otherwise, see, even when you solve logical reasoning, comprehension plays a role. In some of the word based questions of quant, comprehension plays a role. So this ability will help you in every section. Moreover, in RC, we teach you to read fast. One of the items on your agenda for RC is reading fast. And reading fast, once again, is not limited to just RC. If you work on that skill, it helps you in every section, because no matter what, the first thing that you do is that you read a question. And if you double your reading speed, you cut down that time by half. And therefore, I think it's extremely important for you to excel at RC and cover every single thing that is taught to you or is advised to you in the exams. Then Radha Vinod, am I late? Thoda sa, zyada nahi, thoda sa. But decision making, absolutely, Radha Vinod, I had it covered. So in reality, the truth is, you are talking about roughly around 30% of the exam. So the only paper where you do not get RC is SNAP. For the last couple of years, SNAP has not asked us reading comprehension, but every other exam does have it. But then in SNAP, you are supposed to look at something called fill in the blank, so you still require it. So on the whole, I can very safely say that reading comprehension goes on to contribute to around 30 to 40% of the questions in the exam. So this is the single largest area, and therefore it is absolutely imperative that you go on and become better at it. Now, in case you have this question in your mind that, hey, how can I go on and become better? I have already taken these dedicated sessions where we talked about RC and excelling in those, but I'll just quickly give you the lowdown. So here is the rough plan. So first up, you need to start reading, okay? So my general advice is that you should read for 25 minutes a day. In case you wonder what you should read, you are supposed to read long form articles from sources like Eon Essays and New York Times and Smithsonian, Scientific American, all those places. And apart from that, you are also supposed to read books, obviously books, because a lot of passages actually come from books as well. Additionally, I want you to attempt RC passages. My normal target to people is that you'd go ahead and attempt 10 RC passages a week. And gradually we go ahead and increase that number further. It automatically gets increased because you start writing section tests, and then you start writing all these mocks, etc. So the number automatically goes up. And apart from this, so 25 minutes a day, 10 RC passages, particularly for an exam like CAT, I advise that you go ahead and master critical reasoning at the earliest. That's very important for us. So critical reasoning is going to be important. Radha Vinod says 16-17 attempts with 85% accuracy. Will that be good? Sounds good. Sounds good. But what you are talking about should translate into around how many marks now? So you're saying 16-17, 85%. So 10. So you basically, let us say you attempt 16, you get 14 of those right and 2 wrong. So your net score is 40, which should take you around 99 percentile for sure. So definitely sounds great. But my recommendation will be, instead of 16-17, can we target around 18? 18 with a similar level of accuracy should put you in a very comfortable position. So you definitely try that. Okay. So that said, now that we know RC is important, and now that you are here and I am here, there is no point stopping, right? Let us go ahead and practice a passage as well. Okay. So you ready? As usual, take a couple of deep breaths. I mean it. And be just with me for the next few minutes, where we will read a passage, we will interpret it, and then we'll go on to answer some questions. So ready? Give me a thumbs up. Come on, fast. Let me know if you're ready. Shall we start? So I am going to take you through a passage paragraph by paragraph. And after that, of course, you'd have some questions that are based on the paragraph. Okay. Because we are on YouTube, you can always use the seeker of your video to refer to the relevant part of the passage in order to figure out or look for the answer. Right? So let's go ahead and start. So here is your para 1. थोड़ा पेट्रियोटिक फील वाला पैसेज है आज. लेट अस सी. Read it? Okay, Nidhi has read it. How about the others? Only for YouTube, yes, because the scores are valid only for 1 year in India. Internationally, there are colleges that do offer deferred admissions. We don't really have that available yet in almost all the Indian B schools. Okay, next. Virendra, genocide, killing a human is homicide. Genocide is where you kill a large number of people belonging to a particular race, religion, group. So remember Rohingyas or Jews during the Hitler's time, that's genocide. Okay, Nidhi is on a roll today, huh? She's reading things very fast. All right, so here is the next one for you. All right, ready for the next? So this is the last paragraph and then we'd have questions. Okay, 5 more seconds before I take you over to the questions. And in between, if you happen to have any question with respect to reading comprehension, if you're not very sure of how to go about it, how to become better and deliver, you can of course go ahead and share that with me and we can talk about it. Okay, so here is your first question based on the passage. Which of the following best summarizes the author's views on democracy in India? What's your take? Okay, Virendra, anthropocentric is, okay, just before I discuss it, you remember anthropos is mankind, right? So anthropocentric basically means humans are the center of the world. Whereas the paragraph says that Indians had a nature-centric take. That nature is at the center. We are part of that nature. We are not the center of the world. So that's what it essentially is. Okay, so go ahead. Prasanna has already shared the answer for that matter. That's interesting. Okay, so we have 2 answers. Nidhi has also shared her take. Come on. Okay, one more answer and then I'll discuss. Okay, Ajay also thinks it is B. So B it is. Absolutely right. We just needed to look at the second paragraph that started with, remember, the British did not give us democratic values. Had that been the case, then Pakistan, Myanmar, all of those places would have been democracies. India is a democracy because it has a political culture, a culture that can choose from 3,000 crore gods. What more diversity would you require? That kinds, huh? So going by that, you notice A could very easily be eliminated. And since it was not a colonial legacy, could have been eliminated. And this was given as an example to prove a point. Huh? And D, of course, has nothing to do with it. So you are absolutely right in choosing B as your answer. Here is your next question. So basically, religions that trace their origin to a singular god, roughly put, is Abrahamic culture. And you guys have already started sharing your answers. So I'm getting a lot of C's, I'm getting some A's. So let us check. So A says India has always believed in the middle path and non-attachment. I think the right paragraph to refer to will be the last paragraph. Now, if you look at the last paragraph, it tells us that our civilization, this is our civilization. You know, we never colonized anybody. What happened instead was that the local rulers imbibed the Indian tradition. So Indian cultural nationalism is on a path that is very different from that of anthropocentric or Abrahamic religions. So whenever we talk of Indian civilizations, it's something that celebrates development, democracy, diversity, difference, dissent, right? So these were the differences that were given. Now actually none of these gives it to us in its entirety. I would ideally prefer an answer choice that gives me the core idea, the core essence of that last sentence of the passage. But we don't have it anywhere. So what do? A is not mentioned in that same paragraph. So can be eliminated. B, all of you have managed to eliminate, it seems. C, it does not believe in colonization. This is still close because of two reasons. Number one, it is a part of that same cluster of sentences. And when you say we do not believe in colonization, you're not imposing. Okay, you just existing. And that hopefully leaves a positive impression on the others. Right? And that is why C is going to be the best answer choice for us. It should be better than A. A is not even there in that same context. Okay? So for question number 2, the answer is C. Here is the next one. What's your take? So, shall we? Now, what kind of question is this? Whenever we are asked for the purpose of an instance or an example, if then I personally find it easy because it's easy to approach it conceptually. Why do we use examples? Why do we offer instances? The purpose is to either prove a point or explain a point. So similarly, in question number 3, one of these 4 options gives you an idea, gives you a point that can be supported by the example of Myanmar and Pakistan. So what was the context? British did not give us democracy. Had that been the case, all the former British colonies would have been democratic. Now look at Myanmar, look at Pakistan, they're not exactly what you'd call vibrant, thriving democracies, right? So this point, these examples were given to prove a point that the democracy in India has not been inherited from the Britishers. It is something that has come from within us. It has been a part of our culture. And that idea is best represented by option C, which is something that a lot of you have already talked about, and therefore C it is. Let me take you over to the next question now. Question number 4. What is the author's tone in the passage? I think if you use elimination, it's very easy to rule out two of these answer choices. So if I look at it, author is essentially talking about Indian cultural nationalism, the unique variety, the unique brand, and he's overall positive about it. So let us check. What is descriptive? Descriptive is where you describe a place, a person, or an event. So it is just supposed to give you a lot of details. Okay. This is not a passage which gives you details, as in not the descriptive kind of details. Okay, let me just take you back. Let us see. Sorry. So see, is there any description here? It is talking about history. It is not describing something, right? I am sitting in a room. If I start describing it, it's not how we do it, right? Then the next paragraph settles it that it is not descriptive. And the next one, we're just talking about concepts, right? So descriptive can be easily eliminated. Narrative, there is no story, can be eliminated. So the choice is between analytical and argumentative. Now in analytical, we analyze. So what do we mean by analyzing? So when we analyze something, what do? You evaluate something using certain criteria or parameters, right? The closest analogy that I can think of is that we at times are asked to submit our blood for analysis to these Dr. Lal Path laboratory kind of places. So when they analyze, what do? They evaluate different components of our blood against certain parameters. So in this particular case, there are no parameters, there are no criteria that are being talked about against which we are measuring India. And that makes it difficult for us to choose analytical. But in this particular paragraph, the author definitely has shared his opinion with us that hey, India's way of influencing others is better, is superior. So it has an opinion, and a passage where the author creates an argument, gives you an opinion and backs it up by reasons, those passages can be termed opinionated or argumentative. I think a lot of you probably may have hesitated thinking, oh, argumentative is people who often fight. Hey, well, that is just one of the meanings of argumentative. Another meaning is where somebody presents an argument and tries to convince you. And because in this particular passage that has happened, we'd actually go ahead and choose D as our answer choice. And with that, let me take you over to your next question. In some of these exams, exams like TISNET, NMAT, Maharashtra CET, we get these vocabulary based questions. Okay, so here is one such example. So what do you think? What should our answer be for question number 5? Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Which of the following is the meaning of the word paradigm in the context of the passage? Go back, locate it, and then tell me what you think. So third last paragraph, we also have the world-centric paradigm of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. That's where you are supposed to go back, right? So paradigm essentially is a perspective, a point of view, a way of looking at things. So the word that is closest to it, as I think Nidhi and Virender have also shared, is a pattern. So it's definitely not a rule or a hypothesis. It's not just a simple idea. It's actually a perspective. So the closest we have is a pattern, and therefore that is going to be our answer to question number 5. So I hope that helps. Okay, so now you know that reading comprehension is important. I've given you a very cursory overview of what needs to be done in order to excel in RC. And if you want details, you can look at some of the sessions that I've taken in the past, or you can wait for some more sessions that I will take in the future. Okay, so that's it from me today. If you liked working with me, don't forget to like the session and do subscribe to the channel as well. For more practice, you can go ahead and enroll in our test series if you're targeting CAT 23. And if you need even more help, we offer easily one of the most comprehensive CAT preparation programs in the country. You can consider joining it. It has produced excellent results in the past, and we don't want you to take a blind bet. Okay, you can actually unlock a 3-day trial, go ahead, attend some classes, have a look, feel, connect, all of those things, and then decide. Okay? Besides, you know that we've started this NMAT crash course for you. In fact, if my memory serves me right, today should be the second session of that crash course at 7. So I'd see you once again at 7, where we'd talk more about reading comprehension, but from NMAT perspective. So that gives you an opportunity to practice a little more. So do turn up for that as well. So that's it from me today. Until 7. Don't let your intensity flag off. Keep working hard, and until I see you next, stay safe, stay focused, stay in touch, and if you need me, you can find me at any of these places. Okay, so that's it for the day. Not for the day, right? That's it for this particular session, because you and I will meet once again at 7 on this channel itself. Take care. Have a great day ahead.